The Kremlin says President Putin has visited occupied parts of Ukraine's Kherson region in a rare trip to lands taken during Russia's invasion of its neighbour. A statement said he'd attended a military command meeting, hearing reports from Air Force and Army commanders. But let's go live to James Waterhouse, correspondent in the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv. James, what more do we know about this visit by President Putin then?
Well, according to the Kremlin and Russian state TV, he has visited a military base in the southern Kherson region, in an area which is occupied by his forces south of the Dnipro River. And he can be heard on camera saying, "Don't let me distract you. We are here in a business-like capacity." It's a very formal way to wish people happy Easter. We don't know when this took place, but he was also reportedly seen, he was filmed visiting soldiers in the occupied eastern Luhansk region as well. And this is the second such time that he has left the cover of Russia, if you like, and visited troops as they continue to try and boost their defences, really, certainly in the Kherson region, where there's been a lot of military activity over the past weeks and months, where trenches are being built, where troops are being gathered ahead of a widely expected Ukrainian counteroffensive, which, by the way, has not happened yet. The signals coming out of Kyiv is that they're not yet in a position to mount that kind of scale of attack. So I think this is about messaging for the Kremlin, as ever, really, in the sense that depicting Vladimir Putin in this way, off the back of previous visits to occupied Crimea and the southern city of Mariupol, what the Kremlin wants to say to Ukraine and the West is, we are not going anywhere and we are ready for what you are going to try to throw to us. There's yet to be an official response from Kyiv, but it is still a very unusual sight, if it is indeed what Moscow is saying, to see the Russian leader visiting troops inside the borders of Ukraine.
James, I imagine the intention by Russia is, as you say, to show that they are standing their ground, that they are not going anywhere. Does it tend to have the effect of making people in Ukraine weary, or does it simply fire them up and make them even more resolute, that they become adamant that they will win the conflict?
It's the absolute latter, Ben, to be honest with you, because I think whether you're a soldier on the front line or someone who lives close to the fighting, who's endured not just this full-scale invasion, but 9 years now of Russian aggression, I think it further galvanizes the resolve of certainly defending troops in that way, because for so many people, they are past that point of what if. I think what Vladimir Putin is trying to do is say, look, everything is going according to plan. It's a very familiar dynamic, isn't it, where he's there in typically dark clothing, being escorted around by senior military officers who brief him on the situation. But because this attritional conflict is well beyond a year now in terms of the full-scale invasion, I think in an official sense, at least, Ukraine is simply focusing on when it is able to mount a counter-offensive. And if so, they want to make sure that they can reclaim as much territory as possible. As we can see, Moscow will be hoping for the exact opposite.
OK, James, for the moment, thanks very much. James Waterhouse there for us in the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv.